Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I am Letitia and this is That's So Letitia. For today's video, Huda Beauty, very big relaunch of their newly formulated Fauxfilter foundation. And guess what? I am here to do a review / wear test and comparison video for you. Yes, 3 in 1. Let's get started. So while I'm just opening the various foundation boxes, for those of you who actually watched my original Fauxfilter foundation tutorial, thank you guys so much for your support. But that is not why we are here. Let me just tear into these boxes so we can get down to business. So as I am doing so, let me just run down a few facts about this foundation, okay? So Miss Huda Beauty Fauxfilter foundation, the original came in 30 shades, had fragrance in it, which was very unique to me for foundation. However, the new formulated one, she said that she was listening, she was taking notes, she was taking everyone's concerns into consideration when she reformulated her new one. So for the new one here, let me just pull up my notes because I took some notes. The similarities, let's get into those first. Both had the starting retail price of $40 US. Both formulas are vegan. Both offer full coverage, full kind of matted coverage. Both are richly pigmented. Both covers blemishes, hyperpigmentation, and they both give the airbrush illusion that a lot of so-called filters provide. Hence the name Fauxfilter, right? So here are where they differ. The newly formulated Luminous matte formula has absolutely no fragrance. It is transfer proof. It is waterproof. It gives you 24-hour long wear, and it has additional 9 shades. So the original had 30. The new formula has 9 additional shades, bringing a total to 39 shades. I took the liberty of going through both lists and getting those 9 shades for you guys. Okay, so now I have both formulas here in front of me. They both have the same amount in them, which is 35 milliliters or 1.8 fluid ounces. Both of these guys are in my shade, which is 500G Mocha. And I am going to do a wear test for you all. Then we will resume in a little while to see exactly how long the matte finish stayed, if matte and luminous can actually coexist, because you know luminous actually is a term that is used in makeup when it wants to give you that dewy, that glowy look. So for it to be in the same title as matte, that is something that I'm actually interested in seeing. Let's get to the foundation application. I already have on my trusted Laura Mercier Pure Canvas Primer. We are going to now apply a little bit of setting powder, as I do all the time. Setting powder I will be using today is by Maybelline Fit Me. It is in the shade Medium Deep. Applying that with a soft, damp beauty sponge, and just to the areas that are prone to have oil breakthrough. get like a slight whiff of kind of like that, you know, generic cosmetic smell. Nothing at all. Same texture. It's not moving. It's still pretty thick. Let's get to applying it. I'm going to grab a mirror per usual. Even as I was opening both of the containers, I could see it. I don't know if you guys will be able to make that out there, but like if you know, you know, there is a slight difference to the shades. And mind you, both of them are 500G mocha. It's just one is the updated formula, the other is the original. So we are going to follow up using same foundation routine. I will be using Tarte Shape Tape, and this is their concealer 53S Deep Sand for my under eye area. Because this one tends to be a very quick drying formula, I never let it dry down. I just begin to start working it in immediately after I have applied it to my face. And then I'm going to follow up with my second concealer, which is by Juvia's Place I Am Magic. This one is in the shade number 9, and I just apply a little bit of that under the eye area as well. So I did my brows and blended in the highlighting concealer off camera. And now I am going to apply another Juvia's Place concealer. And this is basically for the areas that I wish to contour. So that is the forehead, the jaw or cheekbone area, and a little bit of the nose. This one I don't let sit as I do with the brightening concealer. I just kind of get to working this one in. I'm going to use a brush and just get to blend it in. Set all of this, we are going to use 2 setting powders. I use one for the brighter or the lighter concealer, and then I use a darker, more richer toned setting powder for the contour areas. This just makes sure that everything stays still, nothing moves. So first one is by Fit Me Maybelline. It is the medium deep as I used earlier. I'm just going to use the same damp beauty sponge. second pressed powder I am going to be using also is by Maybelline Fit Me Maybelline, and this is in the shade Dark. I use this one for the contour areas, and to apply I use a fluffy brush. This one is by OPULust. It is called their Pointed Powder Brush. So I just put a little bit of lightly on there, and just get to tapping all around the areas that I wish to kind of emphasize either my shading or that I want to set. And one of my lash tricks that I like to do when setting my foundation is for the areas that were not particularly touched by any sort of setting powder. I like to go back in and kind of give everything a uniform look by applying a light dusting of a pressed powder that matches my foundation. And the one I use majority of the time, it's by Too Faced. This is their Born This Way multi-purpose, multi-use complexion powder. And just using the same brush, just lightly go into it. And I tend to start in the areas that really did not receive any setting powder at all. And then kind of work my way up and even lightly tap the areas that did receive setting powder. Again, just so everything is uniform. One of the final steps I like doing just to ensure everything is set in its place is applying a setting spray. I will be using Urban Decay's All Nighter. And as that is drying down, not applying any more product, using the same brush that we applied all of the loose and setting powders, and just going back over lightly as it's drying down. Just give the setting spray a little bit of assistance. Since we are done with our foundation, can't let this go to waste. We are going to do a eyeshadow look as well. Yes, if we're going to do a wear test, we're going to get the full wear out of it. So I am going to base my eyelids with NYX eyeshadow primer. Like all good makeup applications, you definitely need a good primer. The eyeshadow palette we will be working from today is also by Huda Beauty. This is her Purple Haze. So let's get right into it. I am going to use this shade here as my transition color. Next, we are going to follow up with this matte purple here. We're just going to pack it we are going to apply to the inner portion all the way to the middle of our eye a shimmer shade. And the one we are going to use, this foiled color, like lilac. I really can't say deep purple, but more or less like a lilac. We're going to use that one. I tend to apply my shimmer shades with my finger because it doesn't require much. And with me using my finger, I have a little bit more control over the application of it. So I'm just going to finger like that. And this is the shade. And we are just going to lightly tap. Oh, that is pretty. Just go in lightly, get a little bit on the brush, and right in the middle of the eye. Like so. For our blush, I will be using, and this is by Rare Beauty. This is in the shade Grateful. This is one of their liquid blushes that is all the rage. Do you see that pigment? It gets serious. So because of that, I don't use a lot, and I'm not going to apply it directly to my cheek because wherever you put it, that's where it sets. So I'm just going to put a little bit on the back of my hand. Grab my blush brush, lightly dab it in there, and very carefully apply it. This is actually one of my favorite liquid blushes. I didn't even know such a thing could exist. I know Fenty Beauty has their cream blush, but this is like a whole liquid blush, and I like it because it's very thin, but the pigment is there. So depending on how you apply it, it can kind of give you that almost like popsicle stained look, where it's like it gives you a natural blush look. And that's it for the blush. For everybody with any sort of melanin. If you do makeup, if you wear makeup, you should own this lip liner. And to fill it in, I am going to use, this is by Lime Crime, and this is in the shade Marshmallow. This is one of their liquid lipsticks. They look a mess, trust me, I am really smooth with this. See, I got it together. It takes a little while for that Lime Crime, as thin and bright as it is, to get into formation. But when it does, it looks great, right? So, on top of that, we are going to apply a little bit of McGrath Labs OPULust lip gloss, and this one is in the shade Naked Rose. Alright guys, so this begins our wear test to see how well this particular formula holds up. I do have a few thoughts on it thus far. I'm going to leave those for my, I guess, final impression once the wear test is over. So I have a couple of errands to run. I have to get these eyelashes sorted out. I will be back with you guys shortly. 5 hours wear test. I think that's enough time to kind of formulate an opinion on how well I like this foundation. So it's been about 5 hours from the cutoff of the first portion of this video until now. And here are my final thoughts on the new Fauxfilter Luminous Matte Foundation. I like it. The formula, I feel as though it's pretty much the same, with the exception of a slight variation of golden undertones in the Luminous Matte one. This one, to me at least, does not have as much of a golden undertone in the formula as the original one. In terms of the matte finish, I do feel like it gives you a natural matte finish, not like some where it's really drying. Definitely prefer the fragrance-free version. I felt like I was wearing perfume on my face, and to a degree I was with the original formula. I would say both of them are neck and neck in terms of wearability, because with the original, I got an all days wear as well without any sort of oil breakthrough. There was no transfer onto my face mask. Speaking of which, so I did have to pause the video to go out and run a few errands, and of course I had to wear a mask, and this is the result of wearing a mask with this makeup. Now granted, there is a little bit there that was from my chin and up here, but that was from me constantly talking, and personally I would like to attribute that to the pressed powder that I put on in the concealer areas. It did not transfer off onto my cold. I was able to drink, I was able to eat, and my face is still properly intact. So I hope this review and wear test kind of help you all formulate your own opinion. You know, kind of help you be a little bit more informed going into into making a purchase for this foundation, if that's what you choose to do. I'm going to put in the description box below, as well as provide a card in the video for a link to my first video using the original formula, the Fauxfilter original formula, just so you guys can kind of see, for comparison's sake, that I did in fact try both out so I could properly formulate an opinion for you all. Thank you so much for watching this video, and with that I will leave you with links to other videos, so let's chat about it in the box below as well as on my other videos. Have a great one, guys.